Okay, so thank you. Unfortunately, we're not able to be with you live today. There seems to be an issue with Zoom and Facebook, but we will be live hopefully this Friday at 12 in the afternoon. But today, what we're going to be talking to you about is mediation basics. My name is Melissa Fecak. I'm an attorney in Merchantville, New Jersey. I also do collaborative practice and mediation. And I also have with me Meghan Bradley and Tricia Elliott. Meghan, if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, so I'm Meghan Bradley. I'm a partner in the law firm of DiLorenzo, Bradley & Banfi in Morristown, New Jersey. And I focus my practice on alternate dispute mechanisms, mediation, and collaborative divorce for my clients.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tricia Elliott. I am a licensed professional counselor. My practice is in Cherry Hill, where I provide counseling, mediation, and I am also a collaborative divorce coach. And so I will get us started by defining what mediation is for those who don't know and are interested in learning more. Mediation is when a couple sits down with a certified divorce mediator and they craft an agreement called a memorandum of understanding. The sessions tend to last approximately 2 hours. The mediator does not provide any legal advice, and the spouses have the opportunity to have their attorneys present during the mediation if they so choose. So that's kind of a basic definition of what mediation is. I have also compiled a list of all the positive things a couple can experience if they choose to mediate their divorce. And you'll see me referring to my list because I do not want to miss anything, because I find this process to be incredibly helpful in resolving conflicts outside of the court system. So one of the things that makes mediation better than a typical divorce is that it is civilized and non-adversarial. The mediator can see issues from both sides at the same time, and the mediator is neutral. The other thing about the process is that it is confidential and private. It is not on display in a courtroom for all to see, which is very attractive for most people. You also, as I previously mentioned, have the opportunity to involve other professionals, such as your attorneys, in order to meet your specific needs. The other thing is that mediation tends to minimize antagonism and animosity between the spouses, which decreases the negative impact on children if the spouses have children. It promotes healthy communication for the future. So if you create a parenting plan during your time of mediation, that positive experience transfers in the long run. Again, spouses can craft their own resolution. They're able to be more creative, and they design an outcome that's personal to them specifically and their family's needs. And lastly, the thing that's most important to us is lower cost. You get to complete this in your own timeline, which helps with managing both finances as well as how your schedule is. And then lastly is it can be effective and quicker than a traditional divorce, which oftentimes works for people because they can do it on their own timeline as opposed to the courts. And so I hope that is helpful in getting a better idea of what mediation would look like for you. And now I'm going to pass it to Meghan for further elaboration. Meghan?
Yes, so let's assume that you and your spouse have decided, we've heard about mediation, we want to try mediation. How logistically can you go about getting into mediation? Well, the first thing you need to do really is select a mediator. Oftentimes, parties will consult with their attorneys privately before they get into a mediation process. And attorneys with whom you consult can be a good source for understanding who's available and who might be the best mediator for your case. But you don't have to go to an attorney first to get involved in mediation. The two of you spouses can select a mediator on your own. The three of us here today are all qualified mediators. All of the attorneys as well on the collaborative, the South Jersey Collaborative Divorce Professionals website, Better Way to Divorce, all of the attorneys on that website are also mediators, and they can be looked at, their bios, etc., to select a mediator that you think might be good for you. The other thing is you can select 2 mediators. So if your case has more nuanced issues of parenting time, custody issues, if perhaps your children have some special needs that might benefit from having co-mediation, then 2 people, such as, for instance, Tricia, who has her background, and an attorney who has an illegal background, can co-mediate together to help you come up with resolutions that are going to work for you. Mediation, so logistically, you select a mediator. What does that look like? So you call the mediator's office. A mediator won't generally speak with just one or the other party. So generally, you'll just be calling the staff of that mediator to set up a mediation. And both spouses will then show up for that initial mediation session. And the mediator will start that process, explain how that particular mediator handles sessions. But as Tricia said, they're generally 2 hours in length, and they'll go for as many sessions as are needed to get your issues resolved. In some cases, some spouses feel more comfortable bringing their attorneys with them to the mediation session. So that's also an option. I'm involved with 2 ongoing mediations right now where I'm mediating with the spouses. And I'm doing it virtually at the moment, but at the same time, we've already agreed that if we should hit an impasse, or if at any time one of the spouses feels they could benefit or the process could benefit by bringing in their attorney, we've agreed that we'll also have the attorneys in the room to assist in the process. Finally, like I was saying, we can do mediation by video. So it may be some time before things get back to normal in terms of being able to get out and about and meet with people. And although it has its own challenges, and I found finding my mediation sessions by video to be very interesting and a learning experience for me, I do think that it can continue to be successful, and it is an option that spouses really should consider in terms of resolving their issues. So once the spouses are meeting with the mediator and you've gone through the issues that need to be resolved, at that point, the mediator is going to prepare something that's called a memorandum of understanding. And I'm going to turn it over to Melissa to talk a little bit more about what that means and what that involves.
Thank you. So the memorandum of understanding, what that is it's a document that explains what you've settled on. So it's a very simple document that'll, talk about things like child custody, parenting time, how you've divided your assets, how you've dealt with issues like support, whatever it is, and that'll be all encompassed in that memorandum of understanding. Now that document is not binding in that you can't run to court and say, oh, judge, I have this memorandum of understanding. It has to be then memorialized into what we would typically call a marital settlement agreement or some other type of order. And that's the only way that it will be admissible in court. But this document is something that you're going to then take to your own attorney and share it with him or her, and they're going to review it to make sure that it's fair and equitable for you. Because as Tricia explained, a mediator is a neutral person. So they are not providing legal advice to either you or your spouse. They're not representing you or your legal interest. So therefore, it's always a good idea to take that memorandum of understanding to your attorney to have them review it with you. And they can then in turn that to a document that is submittable to the court. One thing that I think we should note is that mediation is not only for divorce cases, it can also work in other situations. For example, if spouses or if a couple was never married and they have a child together and they have issues with regards to parenting time or custody, mediation can be very good for them. If people have been divorced and they're no longer spouses, they're former spouses, and they have issues that have arisen since the divorce, mediation is a great option for them as well. So mediation is something that can help many people. Mediation can even work if you have a family dispute and maybe you're not wanting to get a divorce. Maybe you're wanting to try to keep it together, but you need some assistance in kind of working things out. Mediation can be good for that as well. So mediation works for many different cases. It's not always about divorce. And it's something that I think everybody, if you are in an issue with your family, you want to maybe take mediation as a consideration as a way to resolve your difference.
Melissa, let me just jump in real quick too. The other thing that we want to make sure people understand is that if your case is maybe a little bit more complicated, you're not just W-2 wage earners, but there's a business involved, or there's some assets that have unique aspects to them that need a little bit more advice, you can also bring other professionals into the mediation process to give advice and to act as a neutral person in terms of explaining issues, maybe tracing some money, finding assets, maybe putting values on things so that you can come to a resolution. So that's also an option, not only bringing a therapist into the process to assist with parenting time, but you can bring in some forensic accountants, for instance, to help address assets and valuation issues as well. So it's not just for limited issue type cases, it really can be much more for much more involved cases as well.
I think that's a great point, and I think that's one of the benefits of mediation is mediation can be flexible, and mediation can really be changed or modified to meet the needs of the spouses, as opposed to where you're in a court structure where it's you have to fit in with the court structure. Is we can use, like Meghan said, different tools. We can use a counselor like Tricia. We can use somebody who is a financial professional to assist with financial issues. If maybe there's a complex real estate issue, we can bring in a realtor to assist us with that as well. I mean, it's really whatever works and makes it work best for the parties, and to make sure that they can resolve their differences as best as possible is what we will do. Great. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching our video, and thank Meghan and Tricia. I think this was a great program. And again, we're going to be trying to do these regularly on Fridays at noon. So we hope that you'll join us. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us independently. My website is southsjdivorcesolutions.com. And you can also find me on Facebook or other types of social media. And Tricia and Meghan, why don't you give out your websites as well?
So my website is, I'm sorry, Tricia, to talk over you. My website is you know what, let me give you my email address. It'll be simple. It's mbradley@dbbnjlaw.com.
Perfect. Wonderful. I was going to do both as well. My website is my name, www.triciaelliott.com. And my email is T, as in Tricia, Elliott, ELLIOTT, M as in Mary, S as in Sam, @yahoo.com. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer, as I know Meghan and Melissa would as well.
Thank you, everyone.